Now, we have our panelists here, and as context, right? When it comes to customer experience per se, we talk about omni-channel experiences, and we also talk about curated personal offerings. So, I want to hear your thoughts, particularly on how your organizations tackle this, and how can brands and retailers like yourselves make the customer experience more engaging in this digital landscape, also considering that we have varied audiences and customer segments. In particular, what strategies and technologies would drive your customer engagement, retention, and loyalty? I want to hear first from Sari Suki. Pavan.
Thanks for that. So just to elaborate further on what Sari Suki does, so the objective of the company is to make food more affordable in the Philippines. So we basically deal in groceries and everyday essentials, and we try to deliver it to the doorsteps of the customers. At the same time, what we also try to do is we try to help farmers to sort of help improve their overall livelihood. Now, to answer your questions, I think it will be more from our demand side or from our retail side on how can we engage the customers better. So the one primary rule we have is try to be very customer centric. So we all know that a product or a service will generally sell if you ensure that it's provided to your customer at the right place, at the right time, and at the right price, right? Now, but can you go further? Can you go beyond that? So, one of the things which we started recently is we started sort of making our products available on Shopee, Lazada, and other marketplace platforms. And we started getting a lot of very positive responses. We were getting good reviews, we were getting good ratings. And then what we also started getting was feedback on the kind of products we used to sell. So, for example, rice. Rice is a very popular product in the Philippines, right? It's almost a commodity. It's almost an essential that Filipinos and Indians as well, they really indulge in rice. And getting rice at the right price is just like, yeah, we got a great deal. So we used to sell 25 kilo sacks of rice on the platform, but we always got sort of requests for 1 kilo, 2 kilo. It's a more affordable, easily consumable packs of rice. So, but our suppliers didn't have those, right? So what we did, we started opening up our 25 kilo sacks of rice and started repacking them into 1 kilo, 2 kilo sacks of rice. And this is because that's what the customer wanted. And these customers then went on to buy other stuff like frozen meats. They started indulging our store because we took care of their essential requirement that they were looking for. And I think that's how you sort of grow your store or grow any digital product is by listening to your customer, trying to provide them what they need, going a bit out of your way to see if you can sort of meet their needs. And that is what builds loyalty as well. These customers then come back and shop more on your platform, and it sort of helps you grow your business overall as well.
All right, thanks for that, Pavan. I think the operative keywords here would be affordable and cost effective. I also maintain a food column in one of the newspapers here. So the interest is always with where can we maximize our investment, our food budget, meal planning, etc. What about for Avanza, Ms. Yayu? Any perspectives when it comes to those strategies?
Well, being a customer retention expert, the most important thing is really, you can have all the tools that you have, that you want, but it's really knowing your customer. Because if you know your customer, then you will be able to provide a more relevant offer, relevant communications. So you can't talk about stuff about babies if you're talking to somebody who's a baby boomer. It's totally a different market. So if you're talking to young moms, of course they'll be more interested in engaging also with other young moms. They want to be engaged in forums. They want to be interested in rewards that's catering to their kids or to their toddlers. So it's all about knowing. So we've heard a lot of tools earlier this morning, and they're fantastic. I mean, they're really great. But it's understanding your customer is always the best. When you talk about customer experience, it's really knowing your customers, and that's really the best way to do it.
How about MJ? Your perspectives?
I agree with all the panel speakers' insights. I think because I've been in the industry of e-commerce and live commerce for going a decade already. I've been with Lazada, Shopee, TikTok, and now I've been handling some of the few biggest brands in the country for their live commerce. And one of the things I've noticed to really capture the customers, really personalization. No, that's one. Personalization means to say I've been offering different kinds of products, be it basically general merchandise and most specifically gadgets. And one of the things I've often noticed is that people always wanted to be always on the trend, no? And with that, we always create personalized packages, personalized options for them that also fits their categories, no? Also, I think important right now, especially in the AI industry, no, artificial intelligence. So being used to knowing how to utilize AI data analytics by knowing who went to your store, who actually able to reach you out through your live selling sessions, who are these people who supports you with your products, with your e-commerce stores or e-commerce live selling sessions. We have to know when and where do we be able to actually offer them more or offer them less or actually create them personalized packages. So those are the things I've noticed in this industry of e-commerce and live commerce in my perspective. Also, one more thing is chatbot for a more easier and a more automated process of engaging to your customers in absence of human interaction.
Yes, I can totally, relate to that, MJ, because when you for those here who are doing online shopping, definitely, having that chatbot accessible kind of gives you that security that if there may be some issues, you have, an access to reach out to, right? Otherwise, you'll be entangled in this web of, who do I talk to, etc. Great perspective. Thank you for that. Now, I want to ask Nico, because Mega World, as an operator of lifestyle malls, right? What is Mega World's perspective or thoughts when it comes to customer experience? Because, retail mall per se, you obviously have the foot traffic and you can get a lot of information out of that. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, I guess foot traffic is an interesting thing. For us, digital transformation started during the pandemic because, of course, the malls had to close. People were staying at home. We had to flip the switch on O2O, which is for us at the time online to offline. Trying to engage our customers online and then getting them back into the mall so they can visit our stores. Nowadays, our O2O is offline to online. So our foot traffic, we try and convert them into customers in our databases so that we can continue to market to them. Generally, we do that through a lot of engagement, a lot of gamification. We've also consolidated the way we do, let's say, events registration, our chatbots. We look at the different channels, what kind of interactions happen there, and then how we can learn more about our customer so we can engage with them better. But actually, we do also different methods for market research still. I think that's the new innovation for us in terms of SEO.
Thank you for that, Nico. I think you mentioned the keyword there, and that is where I'm going to go after this, which is the O2O, right? The online to offline, offline to online. Obviously, the pandemic really opened that wide space for retailers to play around in. Now it's more like, how do you integrate this online to offline? Because guys, all of us here are customers. We are all customers of retail outlets, right? And we cannot identify if there's a hard and fast rule as to whether we prefer online or we prefer offline. It depends on our circumstances at that point in time when we are shopping, right? And retailers have to be flexible enough to provide that capability as we go through that personalized offering, for example. Now, my next question is in relation to this online to offline. How are retailers integrating this online and offline stores, building the true channel or omni-channel experience and cracking the code for a seamless customer experience? And this is all to our benefit. I want to start with Ms. Yayu again from Avanza.
Thank you. So, we did this about maybe 15 years ago. We were already looking at online and offline. Because the most important thing about online and offline is you have to have one single database. You know how irritating it is when you go, let's say, you call this line and they don't know you and you have to start all over again, and then you go when you do your social media, your digital marketing as a brand also, sometimes you don't know if the people that are engaging online are actually also buying your product. But if you are a brand and if you understand the behaviors of all of your customers, different digital channels and also offline, then it will help you understand better and communicate the right offer. So when somebody calls or somebody messages or somebody engages in social media, you would know exactly how to interact with that person. When we did a campaign that's using a loyalty, which is offline in the supermarket, and we had an online social media engagement, we knew exactly which of our customers were maybe engaging actively online, but are not actually buying your products. So you do a lot of your digital campaigns, but you don't really know whether are these my profitable customers. And that's the great thing about being able to integrate it into one single database and being able to have a loyalty system, because you can measure that. Do you know that if your customers who are buying at your stores are actually engaging online? So the key here is to be able to see all of these interactions into one database and do your analytics and understanding the profile and the behavior and provide the right communications. And when they engage with you, you actually know how to respond to them and you give them the right offers. But that's the beauty about being able to do that. It's a combination of CRM, analytics, as well as loyalty platforms using all of your digital assets. Thank you.
Yeah, very well said, Ms. Yayo. I think that will be the day when all of us customers would need not repeat ourselves when we talk to customer service, right? I am so and so. I bought from you yesterday, and then you have to repeat to another person when the issue is not resolved. So that's a great takeaway as to having a single database and a loyalty platform. When it comes to e-commerce, what are your thoughts on that, MJ, in relation to this integration of the online and offline?
Thank you. I also agree once again with the loyalty programs. And for sure, everyone got this card, right? Could you guys show us your Smart Digital Retail card there? You guys have this? Yes, we all have this before we enter this room, right? And this ID here, or this card actually, is one example or a practical example of integrating online and offline integration here right now. So actually, it's actually an applause for Smart Digital Retail, because if you notice, right before you enter here, you can just actually scan this RFID, correct? And you can use this all across any activities any of use for you to use for your snacks, lunch, and everything, correct? With the use of RFIDs, QR codes, AI-driven technology, we can enhance offline and online integration. Example of us that we do in Balikbayan store, I believe, which is we were able to partner with Sarisuki. No, Balikbayan store, by the way, is our global e-commerce, which we are headed in. We have our HQ in Abu Dhabi and United Arab Emirates. We have right now in USA and in the Philippines. And what we do to make sure that we are also able to utilize offline and online strategies is to make sure that we're able to have this technology or system we call, it starts with letter C. Could anybody guess what this letter C is? C with S, it's customer satisfaction. So how do we do this customer satisfaction system? What we do is on a day-to-day basis, we get their details regardless they purchase or not. And with that estimation, whether we're able to make our target, we actually create a system where we can always retarget them after 7 days. So with our integration of having QR codes and every purchase is through our mobile app, Balikbayan store, we're able to integrate this system with very seamlessly with our customers who are usually OFWs. So here in abroad, we were able to connect with them online, offline with our key sites across different countries. We now have over 5 sites or 5 global offices in UAE, US, Canada, and here in the Philippines. So I think those are the practical means on how we're able to integrate offline and online integrations for e-commerce and live commerce.
That's an amazing use case, MJ, and congratulations for doing that. What about you, Nico? Again, you mentioned the integration to online to offline in relation to MegaWorld.
Yeah, actually, we are avid users of CRMs. Well, we have been through a couple of CRMs. And once you have that set up, once you have the infrastructure in place to deliver different customer experiences, whether that's through gamification, augmented reality, things of that nature, or even your outbound communications, email, Viber, you will realize quickly that you will end up with a lot of data. that data, again, you can use to refine your product, to refine your marketing strategies so that you can get the most out of your marketing investments. Generally, and I think our panel here very familiar with segmentation, finding the right time of day to do certain types of communications through certain types of channels. Yeah, that's something that we are big on in terms of consumer marketing. Considering we're a mall operator, we're not a retailer. Yeah, we kind of have to be very creative in terms of promoting our tenants, promoting our spaces. Well, we do have cinema also that we like to experiment on, if I may say, in terms of doing push communications to get analytics and then continuously improve the way we do marketing.
All right, thank you for that, Nico. I'm going to go to the last question for the panel before we go closing statements from our panelists. I want to ask, as far as, let's say, and this goes to MJ first, no? How can brands drive growth through real-time analytics and customer insights across channels? You mentioned a lot of capabilities available in your buying store, but how else can brands drive growth using such capabilities?
Thank you again. I guess that one of my answers already included on the previous question. However, just to address this question again, AI-driven technology, data analytics is one of the key things that we have to impose in every operations, whether it's for e-commerce or any business industries, I believe. And three things that we always make use out of the data that we get from any platforms in digital is number one, customer data when it comes to the packages that we have personalized to them, who were able to actually patronize our products with this package, who were able not to, and who are the people that we have yet to still reach out in order to, get to see this new offer that we have. That's one. Number two that we also could make sure is market campaigns. Now, as we all know, with this very fast-driven, changing technology that we have, we always have to make sure that we never stop on making different market campaigns. So that could be including more, even better, like loyalty programs for our customers, be it for the new ones or the ones that who have supported us with our products and services. And then number three, that we also make sure to never miss out on having AI-driven and data analytics usage is for price, how do you call this, price ranges of our products. May mga sinasabi ang mga kapwa ko, online sellers po dyan, people only go to online because it's either for many factors, no? But one of the things that we have really realized is the price concerns also. No? So people can go to anywhere and buy whatever they want and even buy it on a cheaper one, but with the hassle and a lower cost for them in any means to get those items is what they also concerned about. Say for example, I purchase a certain luggage. I can purchase this online versus for me purchasing this, for me to see if this is really an actual good item. I go to the mall, check this out, and even can see other items or brands I can choose from or have an option for this. But given that online I can have a difference of at least 100 rather than putting in myself to a physical store, I would go for the latter one. Is it correct? So those things are the three that we normally make sure that we are on top of it. The price concerns or the price points, market campaigns or market penetration by getting more different campaign periods for us. And the number one is the customer retention when it comes to our product offerings or personalization. Thank you.
All right, there goes your curated personal offering as an example, no? Maximizing the use of omnichannel platforms. I want to hear from Papa, Sarisuki, in terms of, what do you guys, in terms of your strategy in driving growth through the use of analytics and customer insights across channels?
Yeah, thanks for that. I think very similar to what MJ said. You basically identify personas of your customers, see what products they're buying, and try to see what similar kind of products have affinity to your customers' initial transaction. So to give a very simple example, let's say someone buys eggs, like a dozen eggs. You realize that, okay, that person needs eggs for maybe having breakfast, right? So what goes well with eggs is a loaf of bread. So your system should automatically give a suggestion, hey, why don't you buy bread with this? And then maybe 4 days later, the system should prompt the same user saying that, listen, you bought eggs a few days ago. I think most probably your eggs have now been finished. So why don't you buy another crate or rather another dozen eggs? And if you notice that that trend continues, the system should then sort of adjust and learn from the customer. That's where the AI part comes in and says, hey, you're buying these dozen eggs very often. Why don't you buy a crate of eggs? That's going to be more cheaper for you. Easy storage, low delivery fee, and so on. So these are insights which you sort of, there are some things which can be sort of fixed in the back end. There are some things where you have to build algorithms where you sort of start learning by itself and then start giving prompts by itself. But yeah, I think it's all about sort of trying to identify the customer personas and then treat them separately with what demands they might have over the lifetime value that they add. So yeah.
Very good point, because as a homemaker myself, we have to always do the grocery shopping, right? It's inevitable for those managing their own households, and it is it is always an exercise of checking your inventory, whatnot, and having that recommendation engine actually is going to be a powerful insight, allowing us to really not think anymore and just have a sustaining list of pantry staples, as an example. What about for Miss Yayu? What's your perspective on this?
Real-time analytics is so important. That's why AI is so important. How many of you have seen the Minority Report? Mga bata pa yata mga to. Isn't that amazing? And that was like, I think 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
But you can do that now with AI. So can you imagine a customer going into the mall and somebody can actually, through iris scanning, can tell you exactly what you want to buy because they have the data there and it's real time. So that can actually be done already. In terms of analytics, it's so important. You know, in our own experience, we had a client who had a restaurant chain and a coffee shop, and they always thought that their market were the families. Then they found out through analytics and through loyalty is that they found out that they were actually the younger ones, the single ones, the millennials, that were actually their most profitable customers. So it is really being able to identify who is your most profitable customer. And because the system was POS integrated, we were able to see exactly what they were buying. So we knew when they were buying, they knew what they were buying with their coffee, whether they were buying it with croissant or maybe another sandwich. But then that helps you be able to come up with bundled offers. And even during pandemic, you continue the conversation because you have a direct link to them. You can continue providing offers. God forbid if we have another COVID, but situations like that doesn't stop you from continuing your engagement with your customers. So that's what digitization and that's what real-time analytics is all about. But what's more important is you have those analysis, you have those data, but can you understand what the data is? How do you use the data to be able to derive insights? And that's the key. You can have all of this information, but how can you translate it into insights so that you can make it work for your business? Thank you.
Well said, Ms. Yayu. Let's hear from MegaWorld as far as capitalizing on these analytics and other capabilities.
Yeah, actually capitalizing on analytics, especially related to AI, I think it's a great time to explore using AI for customer service because we have a very similar experience where we deployed a Gen AI chatbot in one of our malls, and we got insights that we didn't know we would get out of the bot. For example, people started having longer conversations with the bot, or they were talking about a lot of different topics aside from the usual customer asking about the operating hours, is this store available. We were getting, I guess, another dimension of understanding the customer that we would not have had if we don't have the Gen AI chatbot. Because of the other chatbots, the conversation either ends with the customer a little, well, hopefully they get their answer, they get the answer to their question, but sometimes they end up frustrated or they end up with a live agent. But with the introduction of Gen AI chatbots, it becomes, well, the dream has always been to be conversational. Now it's super conversational. We have customers talking to the bot like it's a human and then giving insights, not just in terms of the mall itself, but even their experience within the township. Sometimes they would talk about their experience as a resident in our township or maybe the office. it unlocked insights for us that we weren't planning on. So I think, yeah, good time to explore Gen AI.
I think this Gen AI, if you stretch the thought, no, to a certain extent, it could be your human diary, your AI-driven diary, especially for those who are not so used to talking to humans, right? Like the younger people who have been so digital native from the very beginning. But okay, we'll be wrapping this panel session very shortly, and I just want to hear closing statements from our panelists in relation to overall customer experience and curating personalized offerings. We'll start with MJ all the way to Nico. MJ?
Sure, thank you. With the overall of the panelists, of the rest of my panelists here that shared their thoughts, I guess one thing that I would like to take part is to give it a shot to try AI, new technology right now. Our host right now actually mentioned about Gen AI or generative AI. I also have agency for generative AI, and the growth of our sales since then, from this year, from the previous versus our previous year, was actually made us times 300 of our target. And it's not yet in the middle of the year. And this is because of the use of an advanced technology called generative AI. How can you use this in any of your industry business, let me say, any of your business industries? That's one thing you have to find out. But as for customer service, loyalty, retention, one thing I can always tell is always make sure to be with your customers' shoes. No? So I myself is a customer, all of us are customers, so might as well to drive growth to your company and your business, always be in the same shoe of your customer, know who are your market, make personalizations with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Customer experience always starts with customer journey. If you understand the journey of your customer from acquisition to conversion to retention to making them your brand advocates, then you can use the tools and make the experience better, being able to look at that. So at the end of the day, it's also defining what is the customer experience that you want to achieve associated to your brand and making them your customers, your lifetime customer. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it short and just say, do what the two ladies on my right said. Keep your customer at the forefront and build solutions that help solve problems for your customer. I think that's the way for any business to go about it.
Actually, I agree. I think we need to be thinking always about how to improve the customer experience, especially for us as a real estate developer, mall operator. The CX within the mall is largely falls upon the tenant. For example, although we have seen the growth of cashless payments, we want it a little bit higher. We want more people being able to do cashless payments. The more successful brands in our malls, generally the global brands like your Nike, your Uniqlo's, they are very good at engaging their customers. First, from turning their offline customers into online customers, and then on their app, they always have these different campaigns. Nike is running this new stacking game thing, and they publish the number of users, and it's a lot of people playing that game just for a small chance to win a free shoe. So I think engagement works. We just need to be always thinking about how we improve the way we engage with our customers and how we service them in terms of our day-to-day interactions with the customers.
All right, and that concludes our panel on customer experience. Let's give a round of applause to our esteemed panelists. Thank you very much for having us.